All right, guys, let everybody kind of get in. I need to situate myself in the camera. I don't have enough room to the left of me, and I have all this table over here on the other side. I think I need to move my camera. So, excuse me, I'm going to shift the camera down so that I'm not like all scrunched up in a corner. Let's see if I can. I'm going to move it again just a little bit. Just a second. It probably got moved when we were doing a pour or something, but that puts it, sorry, that puts it more back in the center of the table. So I'm not like sitting all the way over to the left. And let me see. I don't think I want to back it out because otherwise I'll end up backing it in. So welcome to all of those of you coming in. If you're watching this on YouTube later, this was a live stream and I don't have a stream time. So if you subscribe and ring the bell, you'll get notifications when I go live. I'm off school, so I've been streaming pretty much every day in the late afternoon or early evening. Hi, Ian. So what I did is I have a sketch of a penguin. And I've added some jelly print on the side. And then when I put the jelly print on, I didn't put the gel medium on the top. And I just have a little bit of a detail. And he's just going to have like ice behind him is the plan. So I kind of think, and I've got, I have my Shinhans out, but I also have the Zig watercolor markers, and I'm thinking about using those today because I don't have a lot of grays and blue choices. But I'm going to start with some blue from the tube. And I just have a piece of transparency to the side of me. So this is ultramarine blue. And I'm going to do a Van Dyke brown. I'm going to have a raw umber. And then I think I'll put out a little bit of a yellow ochre. I'm just going to put some of the tubes. Oh, Dot, you're so funny. You did good this morning. You were early. I was late, but you were early, my dear. And I was over on Facebook looking for a link. All right. My other blue choices are Prussian blue, cerulean, and a cobalt. I'm leaning towards the cerulean. All right. And like I said, I have some of the markers out. I'm just going to put some paper towel over to the side. I didn't put any masking fluid on anything because I think I want to use, hi Darla, hi Kimberly, hi Norma, Sophia, Jean here. And I'm going to put a little bit of water on the transparency where I put the paints. And I think I'm going to start with a wash of a little bit of the ochre. Here on the beach where there's rocks. Well, I grabbed a little bit of that raw umber too. Is it buffering? I don't normally have buffering issues, so I have it set on the normal latency. All right, now I'm going to grab a little bit more of that brown. I'm going to add some areas. I'm going to get a little black. Okay, good. Hi, Mindy. I'm going to grab just a little bit of black so I can let it go in some areas. All right, and then get a clean brush and just sort of blend that. Pick up a little bit more of that brown. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this up, and I'm just gonna take a piece of paper and protect I'm going to protect a little bit of that because I think I want to do some splats. I'm going to take the round and I'm going to get a little of the dark brown with the black. And hit some of these rocks. I'm going to kind of blot with the paper towel. I'm going to add some of that lighter color. Just trying to get some different shades. All right, and then I'm going to take and get that dark color, pretty wet. And add some splats in. And I'm going to go into that lighter one, get some more water. Just put some dark areas back in. Okay. I'm going to let that kind of dry a little bit. And let me show you. First of all, the Lindy's pans are starting to settle. The gold, yellowish gold, and the silver and the pink look fairly dry, and they don't move when you rock or turn them. but the green and the teal and the blue are still a little on the damp side, but they're starting to set. All right. And what Eileen is asking about is I was playing with the Prima colors again yesterday. Let me move that. And I was doing this, and you can see I was using the Shinhan and some of the iridescence interference. That's the word I was trying to say. And you can see it's got really pretty color to it. And I did a lot of splattering on it. It's still sticky. Well, I was heating it to try to speed up the process, and you can see it's kind of lumpy bumpy. So Bob said since it was a plastic material, to try heating it from the back and sitting books on it. And while it did kind of flatten it, it's not 100%. I don't know if once this is stretched out, if it could ever go back. The Deco Arts, and I put some gold metallic on it on the top. So you can see it's kind of purple and teal down in it and kind of gold. And I thought that looked pretty good. Definite moral of that story is you've got to let it do its thing. Okay. And these are kind of dried a little bit, and I'm going to blot them back. Now I'll probably come back in here and do some of these more specific ones. I'm taking some color back out in some areas. To get the more specific detail on the rocks. Okay, and I'm going to try to, I got a little bit of brown over here, and I'm going to try to lift that out. And gray is going to go over there, so it's really going to be okay. The blue gray. Okay. So the next thing I think I want to work on, I'm debating whether I want to work on the background first. I kind of think I do. All right, and what I want to do is I'm going to put water in the background using my flat brush. I'm going to flip that around. Now, in this one little area, I'm going to use my round just because I can get in there better. Okay, and I don't want a lot of color. So what I'm going to do is grab some of my blues and water it down. In fact, I might even take it a little stronger because it's going to bleed. I'm going to I'm even going to get some ultramarine blue to kind of go with that. I'm going to kind of try not to make all right, now I'm going to take my clean and try to soften some of that. And that was a wet brush. That was a more dry brush because I want to take some of that blue out. All right. All right, I'm going to start with a real wet brush. And then I'm going to tap it off on my paper towel and lift. I'm even going to lift in here with the paper towel a little bit. And I'm going to use the round. I'm going to pull some of that color up, that light color up in here. And this is actually ice. over some of the rock. So I don't know how that'll work over that. All right, and I think I'm going to take a little bit of that black and add it to the blue with a little bit of the brown too. I just want to get kind of a gray color. Because it was like layers. Hey, Bob. Thank you, honey.
Bob. My name's Honey.
Oh, you keep telling that. All right, and then I'm gonna soften those. Clean my brush a little bit. Gray right in there. I'm gonna come back in and just put a little bit harder line again. And then this brush is dry. All right, now I think I'm gonna take the clean round and right under each gray strip, I'm gonna take a clean paper towel too. like I said, it's supposed to be the layers like of the ice behind him. So I think I'm pretty pleased with that. All right. I am going to take a brief break and let that kind of dry for a minute. I didn't eat lunch because Bob was out. So he brought me egg rolls from Jack in the Box. So I'm going to take bites between painting and talking. Making sure there's nothing on the background. Hi, Mary. All right, and I think I want to try to, I like how some of this lifted out. So I think I'm going to lift out some more areas where the rocks are. Okay. And so far I haven't had to use the markers, so we're doing good. I'm going to do orange. I want to get these little bits that are bright orange. And I'm going to do a little bit of yellow. And I am going to use the markers for that because I don't need a whole bunch out of the tube. There's just a spot here. Let me pull that photo up on my phone real quick and check it. Yeah. There's just a couple spots on his head. Come in with some yellow first in these two. Okay, and I'll tell you right now, it's not bright enough for my liking. So I am going to take a little bit of the tube orange. Which is much brighter. And hit those. Now for this part, I'm going to take and I want to dampen it. I'm going to take a mix of all three of those for right now. And I'm just going to touch the tip right here and let it kind of gradiate out. In fact, I'm going to blot it because I am going to go with the yellow first. Because it does have a yellow and then the orange. So I'm going to get a little bit of that brighter yellow. I'm going to try that one more time. One more time. I'm gonna dry that yellow. And then I'm going to take a dry, damp brush. Okay. So that just kind of soften that a little. And I clean my brush again, and I'm going to pull out even more of the light yellow and blot. Okay. And I'm going to pick up some orange with just a damp brush. I don't want to cover all that orange. I'm going to blot. Come back in with another layer. Blot. And I'm just going to keep building up the layers and keeping it higher up each time. I think that might be getting towards the end here. Okay. I think that works. All right. I'm going to go in with just barely any water on my brush. And add some gray where there was some white in here. And I just want to kind of distinguish the edge of the 2 feet. Okay, so this is where I'm going to switch to one of the markers, right? Because I'm getting too much paint for what I want. So I'm just going to get the tip. Just kind of try to separate those 2 feet a little bit. And I'm going to use the same marker around some of these edges where the paper is. And then I'll come in with a clean brush. And I'm just going to go back and forth. And just come back in and darken that edge. Welcome, Katarina. Excuse me if I pronounced your name wrong. We're working on a watercolor penguin. Excuse me. And I'm using the Zig Clean Color brush markers, and I put them on the transparency so I can pick them up with a damp brush. Now, if you take them straight to the paper, they will not blend. I got a little darker than what I want, but it's probably not going to lift out. Of water on this so it'll bleed for me a little better. We'll just go along the edges. There's a couple places where the paper doesn't go all the way, so I'm just going to take the marker because I want it to be darker anyways. And then I'll just soften that line with a damp brush because the paper's wet. Come in here. Here, I'm going to flip that upside down. Dampen that. Okay. All right, and I think I'm going to darken this right here. And I'm going to darken it right in here. In fact, I think I have a blue gray, and I think I'm going to add some of that blue gray. Into here. All right. So I think, thank you. Hi, Cat. All right. So on the parts that are this white, I'm going to clean my brush. And what I want to do is I want it to stay white. So I'm going to take a clean brush and get it wet on both sides. I'm going to blot it a little bit because that's a little more water than I want. I just want it wet. I'm going to start on the wings first. All right, and then I'm going to switch to the Kuretake, because I want to go really light. And this is a shadow mauve and a haze blue. And they're very pale pigments. And what I want to do is put some of that on my brush. I'm going to pick a little of that darker gray up too. I want to darken it just a little. And I want to come along and you're barely going to see it. And I'm going to go just along that bottom. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of the cerulean. In fact, I want more. I'm going to get more of the cerulean. Mixed with a little of that gray. And I'm going to go right along that line. Then clean my brush quickly with a damp brush, but not soaking wet. Sort of soften that. And blot back. All right, then I'm going to come back in with a little bit more of the cerulean and kind of hit it again with the gray and the cerulean. And I'm going to purposely hit some areas like up against the body. And then blot them out. All right, then I'm going to come in with a little bit of the black and the ultramarine blue, I think. And we'll come in. That may be too dark, but I want to kind of minimize that. I'm going to clean my brush again. Kind of soften that and blot. And I'm going to come back in with that darker color in a couple areas and put some more purposeful, like watercolor marks. My brush is too wet. I mean, get some more of that paint. want it to granulate in there. All right, clean brush. Dry it off. Kind of blend that out. Blot. Okay. So I'm relatively happy with how that process went. So I have a clean brush, clean water. I'm going to come along. Now the middle needs to stay wide, so I'm not getting anywhere near that middle with the clean water. At this point. All right, so let's start with that lighter color. Mixture. I'm going to go wider with that. And I'll put a little bit in the center area, at the bottom and the top. All right, I'm going to blot that. I'll clean my brush. And I'm going to kind of try to soften where those edges are in the middle. Okay. Just coming back in with some more cerulean blue. Get a little more water. Come in with a little bit darker on this side, wider, and this side not as wide. Okay, clean my brush, dampen it off, lift some of that out and soften it, and blot. Right, now I'm going to come in with a little bit of the darker gray. I'm not going all the way down the body with that. I'm going to clean my brush and soften that out. And blot. Go back in with the cerulean, which I like better. On this part. I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine to some of that cerulean. Oh, rinse my brush, blot it. Soften that line. Turn that upside down and all right, I'm gonna pick up. I like those more distinctive lines in some areas. It's getting a little green in here in places, so that's kind of make that come farther down. Okay, I'm pretty happy with his body and getting the ice feel or the, I think he needs to be a little softer right here if I can. Put some of that dark back in here and there. Okay. Now, the one little place I don't have is right up here. Around the neck. I'm just going to darken that. All right, I'm going to check my. Okay, so this area is a darker black, but I'm going to come in with a light gray first. And then go darker. Okay, then I'm going to take the black marker and that paper's wet. All right, I'm just going to keep building up and blending. I'm going to keep it lighter in the middle. Okay. Okay. Clean my brush. Hit just some of these lines. A little bit of this gray. It's a blue gray, I think. Thank you. Now, the one drawback about these markers is they're not going to have the light fast rating that this is. Right, and I'm going to take that blue gray and kind of put it in here. And I'm hitting this paper so much that I got to be done with it. On this paper right here. It's starting to. All right, we need an eye. And I think we're done. Take another bite of an egg roll here. Excuse me. Adding a little more gray down here at the bottom on the ice. Okay. I think I'm going to use a black Posca for the eye. And a white. And I'm going to put these markers back in their container so they're not out. I didn't use very many of them. I just used a little bit of the gray and the blue. Most of it is the Shinhan. I'm going to turn this upside down so I can. Get that little bit of white. And I'm going to come back with a fine pen here in just a second. All right, I'll put a little heavier black in a circle. Let's let that dry. Yeah, now Dorothy's happy. It's got an eye. You notice Pam didn't have any eyes for a long time too, Doc. Just saying. All right, let me hit that with a heat gun real quick. I lost my little bit of white there. The cleaner pasta, so and a number 5. I'm gonna sign it down here. And I'm gonna come in and kind of clean up that highlight just a little bit is what I'm trying to do. Yep. I need to diminish this green in here. So I'm going to take a little bit of that zig and a clean brush that's damp. And just soften that. I think that's better because it was up close. You could see some green up here. And soften it. And blot it. Also gives it a little bit of a fur feeling. It's more subtle from a distance. Bye, Mary. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Thanks, Norma. Yeah, I would think so, Norma. All right, and I think I'm going to leave the bottom kind of abstract as it is, unless you think we need to come in with some markers and define some of that. But I kind of like it. And this I'll just let dry and use another day. And I keep the little carrier sheet so I can see it and just lay it on my desk. All right. And then what it'll probably happen is it'll get matted. So in reality, it'll probably look more like that. But I'm not sure. May not need a mat. May just sell it as it is without a mat. It might do better in a larger double mat. Okay, I'm going to leave it the way it is. All right, let me put that up. Let me get a new transparency. And because I teach school, I have tons of these. Excuse me. All right, I had a picture that I wanted to try from Pexels. Okay. Let me see if I can. Well, it's not going to go ginormous, but it's a boat on the water on the beach. So let's see. I'm going to use vermilion. I'm going to use a red violet. I say I'm going to use a red violet. This tube acts like it's it does not want to. There we go. This one's trying to dry out. So if we have problems with it, we'll use a little bit of the watercolor medium on it if we have to. And I want to even go with a little violet. And permanent yellow deep. I think that's it, just those 4 colors. Right. All right, I'm going to sketch in a horizon line. No, actually, I want it a little higher than that. That is not straight, Debbie. All right, I'm going to sketch that in, but then kind of remove the pencil. And I'm going to take a little bit of that vermilion on a number 4 and a ruler. Okay, because it's got a pretty strong horizon line. All right, now I'm going to take a damp brush and kind of soften that. Okay. And then I'm going to take my vermilion again. And I'm going to just sort of sketch in a boat. Problem with doing this way is it's going to be what it's going to be. Okay. Somehow I've got my line wrong in here, so I want to try to Okay, this line has to cross up over that. Almost even. All right. Because there's going to be shadows and coral in the water, so I'm not. That'll be close enough for my purposes, I think. Okay, and that's kind of a shadow of the boat. Okay. Put a little harder line on the edges of the real boat. And this is vermilion I'm using. Okay. Let me think for just a minute. I think I want to add some yellow. In here. I'm going to add some areas of heavier vermilion. And I'm going to add a little bit of that violet to the vermilion. Oh. I'm going to get a clean, flat. I don't know if this is going to work. We'll see. All right. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of that pinky vermilion. I'll pick up a little vermilion and the yellow to create an orange. Clean my brush. I'm going to flip this and do the other side. Grabbing some of that yellow and pulling it out. Okay. All right, I'm picking up a little bit of the pink. A little bit of that orange. Come up with a clean, basically dry brush and just kind of go across. Smooth. Lift some of that out in areas. Rinse it. Oh, and I need a little pink, a little purple. All right, I'm getting a little pink and a little purple. Get some more water. First, I'm going to get the pink and the orange, the vermilion. All right, now more pink. I want to put a real light base in here. More water. Grab some more of that pink. Some of that purple. Put some of that vermilion in there. Clean my brush. Soften and blend that. Across. That brighter pink. Go ahead and keep that streaky line. All right. I'm going to add some brown on the palette too. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it. Get some of this orange. Do more water. Orangey yellow. work in some pink. And then even some of that purple with the pink. And then some of that vermilion with the pink and the purple. And you want to go grab some of that brown. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a wet paper towel. I'm going to model and soften. I'm going to come in with that purple and that brown and that violet. I need more purple in it though. There's a break in the clouds. Okay, I'm just going in with purple and some water. All right, and then I'm going to blot those. Come back in with some more purple. Blot that again and Try and get some of that darkest color. Okay. All right. Not getting the clouds that I want by any means. I'm going to try a clean paper towel and taking it back. I don't know. It's just getting worse. Whoa, that is not the right color there. I need more purple. This is one I might have to come in and I might want to come in and mix in some. Okay. Well, it's moodier. It's very moody. It's supposed to have more purple. Up in here. That's what I'm going to try to get now. Actually, let me lighten some of that so I can get a darker. I don't know. I don't know. It may just be it. It may just be moody because there's a storm coming in. Okay. Feel like it needs some of that. Clean that. It's kind of brighter back here. I don't know. Can't say that I'm in love with it. But I think I'm done with it. Like, I'm over it. It's something a matte might help. Let's try. Let's dry it. It is very moody. I do think I want to come in with just a small amount of black and a damp brush. Oh, it's a deep blue. That's not even a black. Here's a gray. Just to give the boat. And we probably ought to give the boat a line. Like it's moored on like a beach. All right, and I'm actually kind of like does that help? So what I'm wondering is, Does that help? Okay. Now the question is, do I need some over here? Or let this be water? Kind of like it only over here, and maybe this is thinking just like some. Like that's the land, and over here's water. Yeah, it was bad weather, wasn't it? And I also think I'm going to take that and put it under the boat and work it into that shadow. Okay. Let's call it done and stop fussing. Oh, I got a drop over here. That's not good. Okay. Let's find a pen and sign this one and call it done. And it'll appeal to somebody and they won't know that I struggled with it. Kind of like Jean didn't like her bottle yesterday. But others don't know what she was aiming for and they're like, oh, I love that. All right, let's take it off the board. Definitely stormy weather. Oh, this corner's tearing. Okay. Take it off there. Let's dry it just a little bit. And then we'll put it in the mat. Okay. Take mat. I don't want that boat quite center. Okay. A mat helps. Yeah, and it'll be right up somebody's alley. I mean, in the end, I'm not totally displeased with it, but it wasn't what I envisioned going into it, or it was harder. To get, see, now I don't dislike that the way it matted out. I'm tempted to take a little bit of this burgundy. I feel like it needs a harder horizon right here. It needed just a little bit harder line right there on the horizon. Now, I actually like sketching in the vermilion. I think that worked out pretty well. The clouds were just harder to do than I thought they would be, to get the fluffiness, but keep the dark. So in the end, I'm pleased with it. I am by no means an expert watercolor. And I know I break rules or bend rules. But that was it for me today. Let's see, it's Tuesday. I don't know if we have anybody else on today or not. Got to wet palette things. Move that water because I knocked it over the other day. All right, guys. I am going to sign off. Thanks for watching. I think the penguin was a little bit easier. This was a little harder. And I will see y'all tomorrow. I don't know whether I'll stream tomorrow or not. I'll just sort of see what's happening. Night, guys.